Hey, what's up everybody? If you ever find yourself in Southern California and you're looking for a great day trip, then look no further than Joshua Tree National Park. Joshua Tree is located about 3 hours or so from Los Angeles and about 3 hours 15 minutes from San Diego. So today I'm going to take you through a perfect day in Joshua Tree. This is what we ended up doing when we went there on our day trip and we loved it. So I'm going to give you some pointers on how to make your day at Joshua Tree one that you're not going to forget. I know I sure had a blast climbing on the rock formations and exploring all over this park. I've been to around 15 national parks now, and I'd definitely put Joshua Tree in my top 5. It was a really great park, really had fun time climbing there, climbing on the different rock piles, rock formations. We visited Joshua Tree in February, so the weather was pretty mild. It was about 50 degrees or so during the day, and we camped there. So if you've ever been camping in February in Joshua Tree, you know what I'm going to say. It was cold. It was really cold. And I'm from Wisconsin, so I know what cold is, but it was about 20 degrees or so at night in Joshua Tree. So you're not going to want to camp there more than likely in February. At least we survived, but it was questionable at times. So we started the day, we entered the park from its west entrance. So this is where you're going to typically enter if you're coming from Los Angeles or San Diego, coming from the west. So enter the park and you'll immediately start seeing strange rock formations. And when I mean strange, they look like giant rock piles, really bizarre. And you're going to see Joshua trees everywhere. The Joshua trees are super cool. They look like a combination between a cactus and a tree. So that's where they get their name, or the park got its name, of Joshua trees, and they're pretty cool. You really have to squeeze one. You'll squeeze it and it's kind of squishy, so it's a combination between a cactus and tree bark. So really kind of an interesting plant. So once you see the rock piles, if you're like me, you're going to want to climb on them. And that's what I did. So the first rock pile that I could get to from the road, I stopped the car and I climbed it. And it was a blast. I really like climbing there. Joshua Tree is a really interesting place, especially in February. And it seemed like we had the place to ourselves. It was wonderful. So recommend going in February if you're trying to get away from the crowds. The first feature that we checked out was called Skull Rock. So Skull Rock is a 1.7 mile trail, and it's easy to spot from the main road. You can't miss it. And the Skull Rock itself is only a stone's throw from the road. Get it? Stone's throw? Throwing and rock. Anyway, you're going to want to check this place out. So next we took the 45-minute drive to the south end of the park, to the Cottonwood Visitor Center. So this is the only visitor center in the park, and we had to get our passport stamps. There's other visitor centers, but they're not located in the park. So if you want to get your passport stamp in the park, you have to go to the Cottonwood Visitor Center. And it was kind of strategic because we were able to plan out what we wanted to see on the way back after we drove there. So we had already driven through the park. Two deserts meet in Joshua Tree, Mojave and the Colorado deserts. This only adds to the mystery of the park. And you'll see when the landscape changes from one desert to the next, because they are different and noticeably different. So if you want more information when you're at the visitor center, talk to a ranger and they'll give you all the information that you're looking for as far as the differences between the Colorado and the Mojave deserts. After that, we headed about 20 miles north of the Cottonwood Center, and we stopped off at the Cholla Cactus Garden. The Cholla Cactus Garden. Anyway, there's a quarter-mile trail here that lets you see thousands of densely concentrated, naturally growing koala cacti. I think that's how you say cactus, is that plural, cacti? Anyway, you want to look, but you don't want to touch. I did touch one, and it poked me pretty good. I did not do that again. So next we headed to the Barker Dam parking area. This time it was about noon or so, maybe a little later. So the Barker Dam parking area's got a lot of different trails. And we actually didn't hike on the Barker Dam trail. We hiked on the Wall Street Mills trail. And we were not disappointed by this trail. Joshua Tree has got a ton of abandoned mines there. So you don't want to go to Joshua Tree without checking out one of these old abandoned mines. They're really cool. This one, the Wall Street Mill Trail, had a ton of old abandoned cars there that were all rusty. So they made for great photo opportunities. We took pictures in one. It was really cool. We weren't able to go into the old mine. So they had that fenced off so we couldn't get into the old mine shaft for obvious safety reasons. They don't want anyone falling in there. but it was still really cool to see. And along the way, you'll see the cool rock formations and you can climb on those. The National Park website does not have this trail, the Wall Street Mill Trail, on their website. So I don't know exactly how far it was. I'd say it was probably about 4 miles in and out. There wasn't a whole lot of elevation gain, but you did have to walk over some sand. So if you want to walk on sand, you can check out this trail. It was definitely worth it. Coming to the park, there was one trail that we knew we wanted to do before we got there, and that was the Ryan Mountain Trail. So this trail takes you up to the highest point in the park, and it's a perfect place to view the sunset in Joshua Tree. Just remember to bring your headlamp if you're heading up for sunset, because you have to walk down in the dark, and it can get a little spooky at night in Joshua Tree. This is a 3-mile hike and about 1,000 feet of elevation gain. If you're doing that on one of those 110-degree Joshua Tree days, you're probably going to want to start in the morning or do it in the evening when it's not so hot. In our case, it was freezing cold at the top, so it was no problem with the heat. It was very beautiful up there. You can see for miles and miles, and you can see all the weird rock formations and all the Joshua trees, and you're pretty high up, so the cars look like ants at that point once you get up there. So you definitely want to check this out. It's one of the most popular hikes in the park. Once we got back down, it was dark, and one of the best sights in Joshua Tree come out, the stars. So Joshua Tree is far enough from the cities that you can really see well at night. Some of the most stars I've ever seen were in Joshua Tree. Really great to see the stars there. So you don't want to leave without checking that out as well. So that was about it, what I had in one day. This is the itinerary that we followed, and we really enjoyed it. I hope you liked the video. Hope it helps you plan your trip when you travel to Joshua Tree. Leave comments. What features did I miss? What are your favorite parts of Joshua Tree? And if you liked the video, click the like button and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and remember to keep it wild.